Good morning. I'm Christina, married to Chad. Our two young children are downstairs enjoying their youth religious exploration classes, and we are approaching our 4-year mark as members of the Tuuc Unitarian Universalist Church. I grew up in the Deep South, in a place where Southern Baptist churches were our highest buildings, and Confederate flags flew higher than American ones. When I left my hometown of Panama City, I didn't miss it very much, but I did miss my church community. I played French horn in the church orchestra. I attended parties with the youth group. I interacted with people of every generation, and I had a large support group to lean upon. I lived in Maryland for nearly a decade, with my support network being made up of Chad, his parents, one of his best friends from high school that I connected with, and a very small handful of acquaintances from grad school, and later my workplace. With the uncomfortable feelings attached to my Baptist background, combined with Chad's Jewish background, church was without a doubt in our off-limits category. Absolutely. But then we had children. I wanted them to have that sense of community I had growing up. A wise author once said, "I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too. Games you can't win because you'll be playing against you." So, not wishing to play the game of life alone, I then began a search for spiritual community. I had, via word of mouth, heard of Unitarian Universalism. TUUC happened to be the closest to our home. Our first visit was actually Easter 7 years ago. I can't believe it. I held my little girl, 9 months old, in her frilly pink Easter dress. I have to admit that's one of the reasons I visited. It was a service that actually my husband was pleasantly surprised by. Reverend Claire won him over with a joke that fit his views on the Easter story perfectly. It was wonderful. I want her to search her archives. So I can have a copy of it. It was so funny. But our visits were sporadic after that until Addie was old enough for YRE. She loved it. She made friends. We made friends. Our support network grew and grew. We have friends we can call on in an emergency when we need someone we can truly trust to care for our children. Transformation through TUC is evident in my family's life with 2 simple examples. One, after a very late Saturday night, we let our daughter sleep in on Sunday morning. She later in the day said, "It's Sunday, why aren't we at church?" And then she actually proceeded to cry when we explained. And this has happened multiple times since then. And 2, although still wishing, and this is especially true for my atheist mother and my Jewish mother-in-law, still can't handle the word church. So, number 2, although still wishing we could take the C out of TUC, my husband spoke up about our pledge. I am going to go there. He said, "Do we want TUC? Do we need TUC? Could we happily do without it?" Well, our answer was absolutely not. We couldn't imagine life without it now. We need TUC like we need and we pay for our vehicles. We want TUC like we want and pay for our Cape May vacation each summer. A personal transformation for me is the kinship I've gained that I did not have 4 years ago. The same wise author I quoted earlier said, "We're all a little weird and life's a little weird. And when we find someone whose weirdness is compatible with ours, we join up with them and fall into a mutual weirdness called love." Have you found that here? Mutual weirdness. The amazing congregation at TUC has inspired me to, quite frankly, and this is a good one, thank you in advance, to stop lying and hiding. In high school, I pretended to believe that Christ was my Lord and Savior. On my first grade teaching team, there were 3 devout Christians, which is fine, open minds. But they made jokes about Jews and did a prayer circle each morning before school. Guess what? Sadly, I pretended and I participated and I did not speak up. In one, this isn't here, this is off the cuff, I just remember that in 4th grade, my quest, like Gifted and Talented class, was we went to a park and we were learning about the political process. And my very little mother was appalled. It was one of her I was like a perfect child. So it was one of her most challenging moments. I actually marched with the kids holding a George Senior rally sign. And she was very left-wing, and there were only 4 kids that were holding Dukakis. And I just couldn't. I had to fit in. I was pretending, always. So to quote my favorite author once again, this is when it's going to give it away. Today you are you. That is truer than true. There was no one alive that is youer than you. Be who you are, and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. So I'd like to thank you, all of you here, for providing me with the inspiration to believe every day and to confidently act every day upon those words. And what of education at TUC? In the interest of full disclosure, I love works of fiction, light ones, summer reads, guilty pleasures in the categories of, this is not the greatest word, but chick lit, thrillers, romances. That's my thing. But in services here at TUC and in shallow circles, I've been motivated to broaden my horizons a bit. I have smart notes on my smartphone about brainy books that I want to gain knowledge and enlightenment from. And I've actually read a few of them. Just a few. I have goals though. When I saw an upcoming service about Taoism, I patted myself on the back and felt like a genius because I'd actually already read the book, The Tao of Pooh. I don't know, does that count? Yes, okay. So I can't hang with you intellects out there. TUC encourages ongoing spiritual exploration through literature. Again, from my favorite author, fill your home with stacks of books in all the crannies and all the nooks. I believe that's an amazing thing. Another thing I've learned during my time here, we are a community that embraces ambiguity. It makes me think, makes me believe, I feel it when I'm here, these are my people. My thus far, very frequently quoted author said, sometimes, this is fine, try to reverse it in your head, sometimes the questions are complicated and the answers are simple. LOL. This guy obviously did not belong to a Unitarian Universalist congregation. Zazzle.com sells a Unitarian Universalism bumper sticker with the words, honk if you're not sure. I adore this aspect of Judaism. Life certainly has gray areas. We learn by questioning, thinking, wondering. TUC teaches us, and I quote the same Caldecott Medal runner-up. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step with great care and great tact. And remember that life's a great balancing act. In conclusion, I'll further enlist this author. By now, have you guessed? Dr. Seuss? All right, so this is my beautiful part, okay? A little cheesy. I've heard there are troubles of more than one kind. Some come from ahead and some come from behind. But I brought a big bat. I'm already, you see. Now my troubles are going to have troubles with me. Well, my big bat, it's you. It's Towson Unitarian Universalist Church. Bring on the challenges. I'm a Unitarian Universalist. I'm proud to be part of an amazing congregation. And I'm grateful for our ties. My beloved TUC. We have brains in our heads and feet in our shoes, and we can steer ourselves in any direction we choose. So I invite you to join me and my husband in strengthening, deepening, and widening our ties through your own stewardship of TUC. Thank you for listening.